Did you hear the great news? Probably not. I haven't mentioned this in every video I've uploaded for the last week. I've got a second channel. It's called The Jobber Journal. The Jobber Journal is pro wrestling news. It's just like Rockfeed. I'm there every day, but we're not slowing down here. All I need you to do is click the link in the description of this video to subscribe to The Jobber Journal, and you'll automatically be entered to win a pair of those brand new AirPods Pros, baby. So without further ado, let's jump into the story. This is something I am so happy to share with all of you. I've been following this closely over the last few months. It's involving Dave Mustaine and that scary diagnosis he unveiled back in around August or over the summer, where he revealed that he had cancer in his throat. Now, that is not something that is easy to deal with, but Mustaine himself said at the time in a statement that he felt like he had a 90% chance to beat this thing with the course of action he and his doctors were working on. We knew that he had been kicking cancer's ass, and he gave an extensive, wide-ranging interview in Rolling Stone that came out today, where he also revealed a lot of the heartwarming support that he's gotten from his peers in the industry. Mainly James Hetfield. Obviously, Metallica and Dave Mustaine have had their share of differences over the years, including in recent years, but James Hetfield and Dave Mustaine seem to be on very good terms, and he had some very, very powerful things to say about James Hetfield. He gave an update on his current status where he said, "I'm on the other side of the majority of the treatment and I feel strong." After the radiation, the guy said that my test results looked amazing. You look like you're in a stage 1 and you're supposed to be in stage 3 right now, which is pretty serious. And then the oncologist said the same thing. You look really strong. So we kept moving through the process. He was asked how he found out that he was actually diagnosed with cancer. He said, "I was on tour and I just had some dental work done when I was at home. My teeth are really, really sensitive because I'm a redhead. When I had a temporary crown replaced with permanent one, I told the dentist it feels like they broke off one of those little pointy tools in my gum. It just felt like something was wrong in my tooth area. So the dentist goes, well, you should go see an oral surgeon." So I see the oral surgeon, and he was such a cock. I was in the chair, and he looks at me, and then he takes off as I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting, and he comes back in and goes, "It looks like the big C. You need to see an ear, nose, and throat doctor." I was stunned with his bedside manner. He was just such a dick. So I went out to my car, and I was obviously very upset. And then I went back out on the Hendrix Experience Tour. And then he said, the friend of a guy I have an endorsement deal with is an ER guy, and he came out on tour to look at my throat. And he goes, "Oh, I see this 20 times a day. There's nothing there. Just get it checked out when you get home." And I went, thank God. So I went and played the Hendrix stuff. I was having a blast. So then we were playing Florida. We go to an ENT and get it checked out. 2 weeks go by. I thought no news is good news, right? So finally I get him on the phone and he goes, "Oh yeah, you have cancer." Asked how he handled the news. He said, "I went fuck." And I thought, okay, Mustaine, you can do this. And we commenced kicking this thing's ass. I thought about every single trick I had learned about healing my body and things I'd learned from martial arts. And I did everything that the doctor said to a T. And hopefully this is the end and I never hear of it again. But I feel great. They asked if he was cleared to tour, and he said, well, they didn't say that, but they're freaking out over how well I've healed. I've got people around the globe praying for me. I take good care of myself, and I don't know how anybody else can expect any other outcome other than this. Knowing me, I never settle for anything less but complete success, or in this case, victory. So this is my favorite part here. He was asked about the support that he got from his peers during this ordeal, and they asked him, when you announced your diagnosis, there was incredible outpouring of support from your fans and peers. He said, it did. It came as quite a surprise. A lot of people that I knew but I didn't know cared. Most notably, I got a text message back from my old brother, James Hetfield, and I was so happy to hear from him. Contrary to what anybody says and contrary to any of the act that we put on, I love James, and I know that James loves me and cares about me. You can see that when the moment of truth is here and I'm telling the world that I've got a life-threatening disease. Who comes next? Who comes to stand next to me? James. Wow. And I got a text from Ozzy and one from Paul Stanley. It was great to get one from Ozzy. I didn't expect it from Paul Stanley. That was super bitchin' because in the beginning, when Kiss first came out, I was just a kid and I love them. I'm really grateful for everybody, even the people who have a hard time with my behavior and my big mouth. I'm so grateful for them showing care to me. Like they say, at the end of the day, all we've got is each other over here in this crazy metal community. I love that. I love Dave's mindset here, and I am so thankful that he is getting great care and dealing with this head on. And people like James Hetfield are also reaching out to him and showing him love and support. People like Ozzy, and of course, all of his peers around the world. It's just wonderful to see that. As he said, we may have our fights, but we really are all that we have. Are each other and our family and friends as well. So that's just great news. We're gonna keep a close eye on Dave, but we are certain he's gonna keep kicking cancer's ass, and we can't wait to see him out on tour in Europe in the winter with Five Finger Death Punch. It's gonna be awesome to see him return to the stage. Anyways, that is all for now. Thanks so much for joining us here today at Rockfeed. If you're new here, you can subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on breaking hard rock and heavy metal news. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you all very soon.